All right, we're live on YouTube as well. Just waiting on the participants and then we'll start.
I think we'll just wait for about 1 more minute and then we can begin, Johnson.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Alaikum salam, Soman. How are you? How are the rest of our ambassadors and the team leads? Just to mention, guys, we are nearing the edge of our training sessions. This is the second last sessions, and tomorrow, hopefully, we are going to have our last training sessions. Okay. So take in all the information that you can take from this. These are very valuable and insightful sessions.
I think let's start because it's 7:05 and they will be joining. We have 73, 74 participants now.
Right. Brilliant. Shall I just jump into it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. I know it's late over where you are. It's about 2 p.m. in the afternoon here in the UK. My name is Johnson Bada, and I welcome you again to another session of what we started last weekend. And today we'll be covering a very critical, pun intended, a very critical subject, critical thinking for effective innovation and problem solving. So without further ado, I'll jump right into it. So just a little bit about me. For those who were on the sessions last week, my name is Johnson Bada. but over 15 years experience in technology. I've worked in different sectors, aviation, publishing, finance. I'm a startup advisor and mentor, and personally, I'm a serial entrepreneur as well. And these days, I consider myself a farmer. Uh, my startup, we manage about 500 hectares of land in our portfolio. We grow different things and we export all across the world. My biggest passion is coaching. So product management, project management, like corporate sessions like this. And I enjoy innovation because at the core of innovation, like you will find out today, is the ability to see problems in a different perspective and be able to apply solutions to it. Go beyond the mundane and be able to find lasting solutions rather than quick fixes. And I have multiple trademarks and patents to my name. And above all, I consider myself an eternal student. So I'm always looking for opportunities to learn. So for me today, it's not just about teaching, it's also about learning from you guys and getting feedback from you. Right. What's the format today? Our format today looks like this. I'm gonna go through a certain topic, go through the overview, and then we go into like breakout rooms for activities, and then we come back, have a little bit of group discussion, and basically rinse and repeat for the next 90 minutes. That way, you actually get to engage your other colleagues and participants in activities in groups and be able to share knowledge and understanding. Right, let's jump into it. What exactly is critical thinking? I mean, everybody thinks. There's no passing day that you wake up that you don't think. You think about what to eat, you think about what to wear, you think about how to get to your place of work, you think about how to cross the road, you go to the market, you think about what to buy. So every day that we wake up, every living moment of our existence, we think. So you might be thinking, what is it? What exactly is critical thinking? And there's different definitions out there, but the one that I've been able to come up with is what you're saying now, is the ability to intellectually process or actively and skillfully conceptualize, apply, and analyze whilst also synthesizing information. So at the end of all of that, what we are doing when it comes to critical thinking is evaluating information. That's the most important thing that we're doing because we gather information from different sources every day. You go through your phone, social media, you read books, you listen to music, you listen to podcasts. All of that is information. We're collecting different data points. And critical thinking is all about evaluating all that information and be able to make an active decision based off of that. So at work or in school, you can see a team brainstorming about a new product, or you can see a manager evaluating how to resolve a conflict in their team. If you, for what you do as ambassadors, you might have to do that as well when you're working in a team. Conflict is a big part of the activities of working in a group or in a team. And another example could be engineers testing multiple solutions for a design problem. And if you think about some of the biggest solutions that you work with or that you interact with every day, chances are they are not a product of the first solution that came to the mind of the inventor or the developer. So essentially, that is what critical thinking is about. I hope that is clear. There's so many examples that I can give, but I just want to be succinct and focus on us actually demonstrating and understanding that. So for the first activity, we call it the assumption buster. Everybody assumes. A very typical assumption that I know most of you will be able to relate with is the assumption that every Pakistani is a good cricketer. That is a massive assumption. There are just some Pakistanis that I've met who actually don't like cricket at all. You know, they prefer other sports. They prefer football, they prefer boxing, they prefer badminton. So that's an example of an assumption. So to put it into context, an assumption is just something we accept as true without proof. You know, I can assume that every Pakistani is a Muslim. That's another assumption. Do I have a proof? I don't. But if I were to go with that, it's nothing but a big assumption. There's no data to corroborate that. And that's one of the things that we do, especially when we're trying to solve a problem. We just assume that this solution will fix all that problem. And sometimes assumption limits creativity and it also blocks innovation. And it also can be a very major barrier to us achieving certain goals in our communities, not just about products or services. So a good example that I have on the screen, like when people generalize and say things like, oh, customers only care about price. If it's cheap, they will buy. But sometimes that's never the case, you know? So you have to actually take your time to understand what are you trying to solve. And you've probably heard in so many organizations or in your schools or wherever you do, like, this process can't be changed because it has always been done this way. This is how it's always been. Because it's always been like that doesn't mean we can't make
Okay,
the
sorry, Johnson, to interrupt you.
yeah.
Uh, the participants are asking, you are not audible clearly, so
Oh,
can you, raise the voice or something like that?
can you hear me
Or,
then?
uh, yeah, but the voice is low.
Oh, let me use my headphones then.
Headphones, please. Yeah.
All right, sorry. Can I can I just pause quickly and set all of that up so it doesn't look all over the place? 2 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, guys, you will have to think. मेरी आवाज़ clear आ रही है?
Yeah.
Yeah, you will have to think about something. You can, assume another topic as well, but you will have to think critically and analyze critically things. Like the first example here, it says the sales have declined by 20% in the last quarter, and why? So thank you. And so you can make any other assumption about mental health, anything else, I think so. But for now, we'll have to do this activity. For example, we are saying sales doesn't mean in a corporate, we can think about people are not seeking professional help in psychology. Those who need help, they are not seeking help, and the help seeking behavior dropped by 20% in Pakistan. So how can we enhance that? So we can do something like that or whatever you want. Okay, Jabby is coming back. Okay, I can suggest my headphones to everyone, but I think all of them won't buy it. Okay.
Yeah, I think Johnson also mentioned another interesting assumption that every Pakistani is a good cricketer, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of laughing on the inside because the way that Pakistan team is playing at the moment, I don't think even our Pakistan cricket teams is
Team
are
is
good cricketers at the moment. So yeah,
Hmm. So
यार
assumptions are very good.
थोड़ा सा भरम बना हुआ है, वही रहने दो, झूठा ही सही।
Yeah. By
Yeah,
the way,
tomorrow
someone
we are
said
sub
every female is a bad driver. No, according to research, every female is a good driver. Research says because they can multitask.
Can you hear me
Research
better
says this.
now?
Yeah. Yeah, Jebi, welcome.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's good now.
yeah.
All right. So, apologies for that. I hope everyone can hear me better now. So, without further ado, let's break out into a room. And this, I intentionally said this because everybody has a certain level of commercial inclination, one way or the other. So let's start with this. And then the next task are more related to mental health. That way we can be able to bring it home. So this is something that everybody can relate with. You're selling something and you find out that sales has declined in the last quarter. It could be the last year. Why do you think that is? And basically, the objective is to ensure that we understand what could be assumptions. Like the first thing would be people don't have money, but I want us to think critically and come up with certain solutions or certain ideas for each group. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just for us to engage and think critically. So shall we do about 8 minutes to go into a breakout room, and when we come back, each group can nominate one person to talk about what they discussed, and then we can wrap it up and move on. Shall we do that?
Yeah, I've set up the breakout rooms. So,
Awesome.
okay, so I'll just send everybody into the breakout rooms now. Goodbye, everybody. See you guys in 8 minutes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Guys, if you can hear my voice, it means you guys haven't joined your breakout room. Please do so as soon as possible. All right. Welcome back, everybody. I'll just wait a few seconds for everybody to join back.
Here people are coming back slowly. Johnson, how were the rooms that you visited? Were there any
Yeah,
interactions going on,
there was
discussions?
there was a lot of activity. There was a lot of conversation, which was really exciting. I could see, even though I couldn't hear Urdu, I could
Yeah,
see that there was a lot of debate going on. So I'd like to hear about
Yes,
what is the
mm,
finding and what they've come up with.
as
yeah.
time goes by.
Everyone back?
So I think
Yeah.
Aslan wants to go ahead with the first one.
All right, let's do it. So,
Good evening. My name is Muhammad Aslan. I'm from room 2, and the things we discussed that might have been the reason that the sales declined by 20% might be these. For example, we take any company and we can take any shop or stuff like that. The reason might be that they might be not be bringing any innovative idea. They might be stuck with the same idea and presenting the same product over and over again. That might be the reason that the sales might have declined.
okay,
The second reason can be that they might have unexperienced employees. For example, the employees that they had before, they might have been good at the marketing strategy or presenting. Uh, their presenting strategy might be great, but since they left or the new employees are not trained very well, and the customer service might not be very well, that's why the sales might have declined. Third thing can be the bad customer service.
all right,
The employees you have, maybe they do not show any appreciation, or or might be, there might be a case arisen where a employee has not managed to deal a customer very well, and the customers over there have seen the whole scenario, and that could have been the reason that the sales have declined.
okay. So
And
my question, because of time, those are really brilliant assumptions. By the way, Aslan, my question is, which one will you be testing? Like the top one, if you were to test any of those assumptions that you've listed, which one will you be testing out of
overall,
them?
I had almost
Yeah.
six faulty things that might be the reason. The top two that I would test would be the innovative idea and the marketing strategy.
Okay. And how will you test them?
Innovative idea, I would see which ideas have we come up with in the first place. And the second thing would I see that if I'm presenting the same idea over and over again.
Okay.
Third thing, I would conduct a survey with my customers and want to see what change they would demand, what they are demanding, and if I'm presenting the same change or not.
All
That
right.
might help me increase my sales.
Okay. I think probably start with the last thing you said, like a survey. That will be the first thing because everything you've listed are just assumption. And the only way to confirm an assumption is to get data. And an easy way to do that is through survey. So you understand how all these moving parts can be aligned for you to get a positive conclusion, right?
Yep, I do
All
get
right.
the point.
All right. Awesome. Can we have another volunteer from
Yeah,
room one?
Mehreen is second on the line. So Mehreen, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Hiya.
I'm from room 2, room 8, and we came up with 10 approximate assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And first one was product quality low, marketing strategy, bad behaviors, communication gap, government policy changes, cost, economical effect, another rival that came up with the same product,
Mm-hmm.
and bad lawsuit, which also comes with marketing strategy, but I made another assumption, and low resources. And we thought that we would work on the assumptions equally, equal resources. For example, with product quality low, we would hire good employees and a good chemicalist that will work on the product effectively and see what they can do for that product.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
Why will you hire without knowing if that will actually fix your problem?
Because if the product quality is low, so
Who
I
said that?
figured
Who said that? All
the
of these are
customers.
assumptions, right?
Yeah.
So you've not spoken to customers, correct? They're just assumptions.
Yes.
You see,
Yes.
you see why companies fail? Because somebody in the high management will wake up and think, oh, this is our problem. If we definitely fix this, then sales will go up by 40%. And then you put all your resources into that one idea, the first idea, and then if it doesn't work, then somebody gets the blame. So what I'm trying to stress is sometimes the first idea is not always the best idea, right? So you
Yes.
need, I was saying to in one of the rooms, think of it like an onion, right? There's so many layers, and the more layers you peel, the closer you get to the center of the onion, right? So all these assumptions are layers, and the only way to verify each layer is through data by talking to your customers, right? Because you can have 101 assumptions,
Yes.
but that's exactly what it is, assumptions, until you actually verify that from your customers and you start eliminating which ones are not actually true, then you get to the core of the problem. Does that make sense? That's why we call
Yes.
this
It
exercise
makes sense.
the assumption buster. All right. We'll take one more from one of the
Yes,
Yes.
teams, and
okay,
then we're gonna
okay.
go.
Yeah, we have Soman Ahmed, who was the third one.
Awesome.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
you're awesome, man.
First of all, my name is Suman Ahmad,
Hi.
and I am from room 5. So the
Mm-hmm.
assumptions come in our room are that on the top that sales might be affected by seasonal changes like holidays or weather conditions. That's one of the assumptions. And another one is new competitors might have entered into the market, or existing ones might launch aggressive marketing campaigns. And another assumption is internal problems like staff turnover and lack of training or poor communication between them. And regulatory changes in laws, regulations, or industry might affect our products, and that's why the sales is decreasing by 20% or more.
All
Quality
right.
problems, lack of innovation, etc.
All right.
Structural
So,
market continues.
Summon, if you were to test two of those assumptions, which ones will you pick the top two?
First of all, I mentioned the investment. So first, I check by seasonal changes that what's the reason, what the season affects our decrease, matlab, what the seasonal changes affect our products, our sales, and another one is lack of communication between the organization, between the employees. So these two first I address,
Okay. And
and
what would be the result to confirm your test?
that it seems after the decision that first of all in organization we see that communication is very important between employees. So I look after that the communication is going on if they properly communication between employees. and
All
see the
right.
positive results.
All right. So what you've just said is more focusing on qualitative data rather than quantitative data. But that's also a good way to move from one point of assumption to start getting data to confirm that assumption or not. So I hope everyone has a clear understanding from that exercise why assumptions can be a very major red tape in innovation and in solving problems, right? Cool. I'm gonna move on to the next one. And the next topic that I really want to cover is a very useful technique, and I hope you're familiar with it. The five whys. So the five whys is a very important technique that we use, especially in software development and product management, to be able to drill down to the root cause of a problem. It's a very simple tool. Like you ask why is basically being a child again. You know, for people who have kids around, you know how kids ask questions like why. If you tell them you can't do this, then they say, but why? And then you say because, then they ask you, but why? And then you tell them because of this, and they ask you, but why? Eventually, you get to a point where they get it. And that is exactly the whole point of the five why strategy. It's being able to drill beyond the surface level to the root cause of a problem. So a good example is if you're late for work or you're late for class, for example, like that is a problem. But if you start applying the five whys, you will discover that the root cause of you being late for work was not the traffic. It's because you probably went to bed late the previous night. Maybe you were watching something on Netflix or YouTube, or you're on Instagram or Facebook. And because you stayed up late, you woke up late, and then you were in a rush, you got into traffic, and you go to work late. So this is a good example to show you that sometimes the problem, or what we think is the symptom, is just the tip of the iceberg. The real problem is right there, and it's not showing on the surface. Because if you get into class late, your lecturer will only think you're late. But within yourself, you know it's because you went to bed late. And why did you go to bed late? Because you were watching Netflix or you were doing something else. So that helps you understand that, okay, for you not to be late next time, you have to go to bed early. That's a good example of that. And in the industry, a good example is when Netflix in 2011 decided to split their business and start doing DVD renting and still doing online streaming. And they saw a massive drop in sales and cancellation from customers. And then they realized that that would never work. And they were smart enough to be able to rectify the problem as quickly as possible. And to bring this home, we're going to do the same thing again. And this time is going to be exciting. Um, so I want you to think of this. The scenario is you're a student and you failed an important exam. And I want you to discuss like why, using the five why to drill down to the root cause. Why did you fail that exam? And I want you to do that as a team. Again, let's take about 8 minutes. And then once we understand this, the subsequent exercises will be bringing that home into some of the activities you'll be doing around mental health, around being a support system, creating support system. And I want you to share the five whys that you might think a student failed an important exam.
Johnson, can you please share your screen for a second so we
Yes,
can?
can you see it?
No, we can't see it right now.
You
That's the
can't see
problem.
my screen.
Yeah,
Oh, what's going on?
I
Uh,
think you forgot to share it.
no, no, no. I'm sharing. Let me see. Apologies for that. There we go.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So think about it in your breakout room using the 5 whys technique to explore the root cause of why a student failed an important exam. They know it's important, so chances are they must have studied for it. But what do you think could be the reason for them to fail it? And take 8 minutes to discuss, and then we'll come back. And each team can nominate one person to discuss. And this time, maybe we can call some of the teams that we haven't called before. So,
Yeah. Can you also share the 5 whys slide for just a second so I can share it with everyone?
yes. Let me see. That would be this.
Okay, thank you.
Got it?
Yes.
Awesome.
I think it's about you have to ask the why question 5 times, that why I failed, why number
Yeah,
one, why number two, why number three, and why number four. And you'll have to reason for 5 whys, and then you'll have to answer those whys.
exactly. A good example is this. The student that was late for work, or the employee that was late for work, or the student that was late for class, the 5 whys will help them discover that it wasn't the traffic or the habit of waking up late, but it's because they stayed up late the previous night. So if they have a good bedtime routine to go to bed early, they'll wake up early, they'll get to the bus stop early. Even if there's traffic, they will still be able to get to class early or get to work on time. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Awesome. So let's do that for the next 8 minutes, and then we'll come back to discuss.
All right. Everybody, see you all in 8 minutes. All right, once again, welcome back, everyone.
There was a heated discussion about several causes, several whys, and the interesting part was when some participants and I recommended something like, "What about we blame the teacher, and what about we blame ourselves, and what about we say, okay, I had the subject, that's why I failed, and let's bring it out and discuss this." And it was an amazing discussion with them.
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes this technique actually lets you face the real reality. And you're right. It could be the fact that as important as the exam is, you just don't like it. And you need to be able to be honest with yourself to understand that and to bring it home when it comes to mental health. Like for some people, they know the key stressor for their mental health, but they don't want to face that reality to deal with that root cause of it. Sometimes a very big one in the UK is gambling addiction, right? If you have a group of friends that are into gambling, even if you're fine when you're not with them, the moment you're with them, you know your influence to gamble. So now it becomes a key decision. Do you stop seeing your friends so you can be able to deal with that stressor that causes your gambling addiction, or you continue with them and pretend they are not the main stressor for you being a gambler or a gambling addict? So the technique is to help you drill down to the root cause of a problem. So maybe let's go with what team should we go with first, Elias?
Okay, so last time I missed Fidai Muhammad, so he can start this time, and then we're gonna go to the next one. Muhammad, are you there? Yeah.
Okay, hello. Uh, so the problem was that one of my friend is not ac- he's not interacting with all other friends, and he is isolating himself from colleagues. So the first why was that he don't have work-life balance, and again we said what can be the reason of that. So the reason could be emotional lack of emotional intelligence in him, and again the reason for this could be not appropriate information available or training programs available there, and again the reason could be uh, lack of awareness in society. That's all from my side.
Okay. And is that in relation to the question for the breakout room, or is just generally about mental health?
I think that was in relation to the question which was asked. If I'm not
Okay.
wrong. We can move on to someone else.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you. That was really good.
Okay, Salah, you wanna say something?
Well, I was from room two, Sadar, once again.
Awesome.
Basically, our idea was that there is a project, game app. We are building a game app for our client, which can help the clients, the end user, which which they will use in free time to have fun and spend their time without any stress and for releasing their stress. So basically, that project is given by our client to us, and we fail to give that project in the given time. So first why was answered by the lack of time. The second why was answered by the minimum budget. The third why was answered by lack of expert. The fourth why was answered by the team could not collaborate with each other in a better way. The fourth why was answered that the lack of experts were not given the workshop. The end answer is that the due to not proper training and workshop, they failed uh, to deliver the project in a given time.
Okay. Given the context of your exercise, I see why that makes sense. I know it's not exactly what we wanted to discuss in terms of the task, but I can see why that makes sense. As to drilling now, the whole idea is still the same, to be able to understand the fundamental problem. So thank you for that.
Okay, Johnson, we have a lot of more people who want to share their opinions, so let's
Yes,
just
let's
give
get,
all of them a chance.
yeah, let's get
Uh,
one more person
try
in.
try to be brief and precise, guys, okay, so that everybody gets their chance.
Yeah,
Rubab, you're next.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be as quick as I can. So I failed because one, I was unprepared. And I was unprepared because I didn't allocate enough time. I didn't allocate enough time because I can't concentrate without a proper schedule. I can't concentrate without a proper schedule because I was being lazy and I didn't make a schedule in the first place. And I didn't make a schedule in the first place because I just don't feel like feeling robotic with a schedule. And that's all that on my side. Thank you.
Okay, that makes sense. You don't want to be a robot. That's why you failed an important exam. Fair?
Yeah, that was very well woven together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more and then we'll move on.
Okay. Muzamma Batul, she had raised her hand before too.
Assalamu alaikum. I am
Wal-
from room number 7. So the reasons we came up with, first off, we have procrastination. Uh, because, for example, when we are distracted by social media or we procrastinate too much, obviously it's going to hinder our overall performance. Number second up, we have exam stress and anxiety, because some students really do feel a lot of stress and anxiety before their exams, and that can really hinder their overall performance. Next up, we have health issues, be it physical or mental. It can obviously lead to lack of performance. Uh, Fourth, we have lack of resources, be it teachers' notes or content from the slides, books, or whatever. If the student does not have enough resources, obviously it is going to hinder their overall performance. And lastly, we have lack of interest in the subject and poor study habits. If the student is not going to be passionate enough and is not going to take interest in the subject itself, then obviously it is going to hinder their overall study performance. So that's all. Thank you.
Right? That's brilliant. So I think everybody understands the full gist. Like the 5 whys is a powerful tool. Like sometimes you might need to go down to 6, 7 whys to get to the root cause. But the general rule of thumb is if you ask the right questions, after the 5th why, you should be able to identify the root cause of any problem. So, I mean, if it's something that you get better with practice, like I said, with the example of being late for work or being late for class, you can see like the main problem was just having a bad habit of going to bed late. And if you fix that, chances are you will increase your chances of getting to work early. All right, moving on. The next one that I'll want to cover is the lateral thinking for innovation. And lateral thinking is very straightforward. It's about you approaching problems indirectly and creatively, like focusing on the problem from a different angle that everybody might be looking at it, in terms of you don't follow it by step. You don't follow it from ABC. You actually look at it maybe from a reverse engineering standpoint, like from the problem itself back to the solution. And there's so many ways to do this. Like one of the key ones is the reversal technique of what if we did exactly the opposite? Like what would happen? If we're saying, going back to the previous example of sales declining, like, what if sales are not actually declining? Let's say sales was increasing by 20%. What do we do? Or what else do we do? So by thinking of that question and rephrasing it, it will also rephrase your understanding of the problem and especially your psyche around the problem. Because as humans, our natural default setting is to be emotional about a topic or subject we're passionate about, you know? So rephrasing it is taking that, what could be a negative energy or emotions, and putting a spin on it to make it a positive emotion, and then using that positive emotion to walk your way towards the solution of what it could be. And we've seen it in the corporate world, where Google's 20% policy is that every employee is allowed to spend time on their side projects, like projects that really interest them. And one of the biggest outcome of that is Gmail today. And I'm sure most of us will use Gmail today. And Gmail came about from Google employees working on a side project. So it was a side project. And another good one that I always like to refer to is a restaurant here in the UK that asked, their clients and customers to help design their meals and design their menu. And that feel of being connected or being able to interact with the restaurant help them increase their engagement and sales altogether. So moving on to the next exercise. This is about mental health now. Imagine you're feeling overwhelmed with academic deadlines and mental health concerns. How can the process of seeking support be made less complicated? Keep in mind, today we still have stigma about mental health. We still have different kind of connotations around it. When you are thinking about it, ask yourself, how can we make this process even more complicated? And by thinking about it and trying to overcomplicate an already complicated process, you start thinking, whether you like it or not, about solutions. And that's just the way it works when you're doing the reversal technique. And the same way as before, let's discuss as a group and understand the question. Maybe Elias, you can take a screenshot for every group so they understand the question and then they can be able to discuss about it. Is that all right?
Okay, okay.
All right, so I'll be opening the breakout rooms again. See you guys in 8 minutes. All right, everybody, welcome back. We'll be restarting the session in a few minutes as soon as everybody's back.
Okay, we are gonna try to give opportunity to those people who haven't shared their thoughts so far. So in the earlier activities. Okay, so guys, anyone who wants to share, please raise your hand.
Okay, especially those who are not talking about anything. So it's your opportunity to talk about your ideas, your thinking. There is no shame in your questioning and your language. Even if you can't talk in English, you can talk in Urdu. I will translate it.
Awesome. I agree. Who wants to go first? Elias.
Okay, we have three participants, but all three of them have shared before. If anybody else wants to share, they can raise their hand, or otherwise I'm gonna give it to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, we have a new participant, Adisha Ahmed. You there?
Yes, is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay, so because I'm overwhelmed with mental health concerns because of deadlines, so I'll try to think of why, what factors are causing this. So maybe I am not prioritizing my tasks the right way. So maybe I'm spending a lot of time on social media, or I'm simply wasting it, not doing the things that need to be done on time. So I'll keep repeating the bad habits, and then that's how the process gets even more complicated, right? So now I have a lot more deadlines in my routine, and then a lot more mental health concerns. So when I've identified these reasons, I can work on avoiding this. That can make the process a lot easier.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Next person.
Okay, Umar Fayaz.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. You can speak now.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Loud and
Okay,
clear.
thank you. So the situation is overwhelmed and the deadlines are near. For example, I will complete my point in this example, like tomorrow is going to be my exam, and I have to clear 17 chapters in 12 hours. So, like, if I have cleared one chapter to make that situation more complicated, and after completing one chapter, I will repeat the habit, like what I have, like, I will watch 30 minutes of Instagram reels, and then a kind of algorithm that will grab me, and that's my habit. Again and again I will do this, but at the last or at the end I will not be able to complete my chapters. So that situation can be more complicated. Or the another thing is to complicate it more, like tomorrow is my presentation and I'm going to present in front of my class, and I will keep asking my friends to make my presentation, to make a scenario kind of a topic for me. So it will be complicated for me as well as for my friends. So that's it from my side.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, we have now Soman Ahmed being
One last
supported
one.
by all the team, yeah,
Yeah,
in the
let's take
chat.
that one last one.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
you are audible.
First of all, I want to clear one thing. My name is Soman Ahmed.
So sorry for that, yeah.
So my room number is 10, and the question given to us that how can we make the process even more complicated. So if our assignments and deadlines are on our head, so instead of doing the work on last day, we start working on last hour. So from this doing this thing, our thing is more complicated. The and if we make it less complicated, so we can do our work before 1 day or 2 day, not on last hours. So that's the point, to do our work more complicated. to do work last hours, before 1 hour or 2 hours. That's the one thing. Or if tomorrow is our presentation and we make our presentation and we don't have proper resources, our laptop or any other thing to present tomorrow in front of class, and we don't make any proper arrangements for this, for this reason our process become more complicated.
Yep, makes sense. Thank you. And I hope everybody understood the whole point. Salah, let's move on. We'll get to you next exercise if there's time. And the next one is probably one that everyone is familiar with. This is the six thinking acts. It's a very wonderful technique. It's a framework that was created by Edward de Bono, and it's to encourage parallel thinking by focusing on one perspective at a time. Because our brain is designed to recognize patterns, right? That's the way we learn, that's the way we remember stuff. Like our brain is like a huge box of different patterns. And once you identify a pattern, the next time when you see certain aspect of the same pattern, even if it's not the whole pattern, like you already think of your response. It's like if you're picture yourself walking down the street and all of a sudden you start seeing people running towards you. Even if you don't know why they're running, your default setting is to run as well, right? And if maybe the first time it's happened, there was actually a genuine reason for them to run, and you discover that, the next time, even if it's just a prank, your default setting will be the next time you see people running towards you, you turn back and you run as well. That's because your brain has already ingrained a certain pattern. And in terms of the six hats, so we've got the white hat, which is about facts and information, like getting data and making decisions from data. You have the red hat, which is about emotions and feelings. So that's more qualitative than quantitative. And then you have the black hat, which is about critical judgment and caution, being skeptical about everything, or playing the devil's advocate. And then you have yellow, which is you're always optimistic and you only see the positives for every situation. And then you have the green, which is about finding creative ways to bring new ideas to life. And you are a creative person. Like if there's a problem, you're already thinking of how to solve it in a creative way. And the blue hat is about control and process management. Like you don't like changes. If it's not broken, don't fix it. That's your natural default setting. So these are the kind of settings that we all have, one way or the other. It's about bringing it together. If you were to put this team together, you will see that everyone in this group falls under one of these category, one way or the other. And it's a very good framework to solve a problem. So a very good way to do that is, let's go into another breakout room quickly. And the question is, you're deciding whether to accept a full-time job offer after graduation or to pursue a postgraduate degree. How do you make that decision? And you can look at all of this, like it's something that everyone here can probably relate with. So think about it. Let's take time and go through it, focusing on maybe room one will be the white hat. If you are in room one, you'll be the white hat. Room two will be the red hat. Room three, the black. Room four, yellow. Room five, green. Room six, blue. And then room seven can be white again, and in that category. Elias, can we make that happen?
Yeah, Talha, you there?
Yeah, so I'll just recreate them so that there's only 6 rooms
Yeah,
So
instead
yeah,
of 10.
that would be perfect. Yeah.
exactly. If you can just create 6 rooms, that would be brilliant. So the white hat, you can take a screenshot of this so they will be focused on one particular theme, and then we can come back and pick one of the two rooms and then move
Okay,
on.
Johnson, let me
Yeah.
explain them in Urdu because some of them are asking, yeah. तो आप सबको ये बताया जा रहा है कि जो आपके यहाँ पे हेड्स है ना, आपके वाइट हेड, रेड हेड वगैरह, इसका मतलब ये है कि इनके डिफरेंट रोल्स है और डिफरेंट काम है। तो आपने वही काम करने हैं जो वाइट हेड करता है या रेड हेड करता है या ब्लू हेड करता है। तो आपने अपना हेड अभी यहाँ पे देख लें कि वाइट हेड का मतलब क्या होता है और क्या काम करता है, और ब्लू ग्रीन का मतलब क्या होता है। आप जिस रूम में होंगे तो रूम 1 का मतलब व्हाइट हेड होगा, और 2 का मतलब रेड होगा, 3 का ब्लैक होगा। इस तरह आप खुद अपने रूम को देख के डिसाइड करें। देन ठीक है, अगर फिर भी समझ नहीं आया तो मुझसे पूछ के मैं रूम विजिट करूंगा। ओके, थैंक यू सो मच। आई होप दे गॉट द पॉइंट।
Awesome. So let's do that and we come back again.
All right, everyone. So should I give them just 8 minutes again?
Say again?
So should I make the rooms for 8 minutes only?
Yes, 8 minutes, so that we come back and we wrap up with the last one, which is cognitive bias, and then we're
All
done.
right. All right. Okay, guys. See you all soon. All right, welcome back, everyone.
Okay, so this was, I think, one of the more interesting ones. I saw a lot of people passionately debating.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
I definitely had some of that as well. I
yeah,
think I only need to do 3 more sessions of this. I mean, my Urdu will be very fluent.
yeah, definitely.
Let's start with the
First one, Salah. I think he has
let's
already
start
raised
with
his
Salah.
hand.
Which
And
which room were you in? What at was that, Salah? You're mute.
Thank you. Well, I was from the Green Hat.
All right.
Basically, there was a hot debate between us because some were from medical and some, like me, was from engineering side. So I am basically from software engineering. Obviously, I will pursue for creative idea, and the creative idea is that I should go for a full-time job where I can practice my more skill and practice more practical and modern knowledge, with familiar with modern tools and technologies which are currently developing in the market. So I will be going for the obviously for a full-time job.
So was that a team decision or a Salah decision?
Yeah, this is a team decision.
All right, cool. So you agree that you will rather go for a full-time job rather than go for your postgrad, right?
Thank you.
Awesome, brilliant.
Muhammad, yeah, we have next on the line Muhammad Al Salan.
Yeah, go on.
Aslan.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Uh, we had the black hat, but we were discussing the black hat in another perspective. At the very last moment, sir came in and told us what we had to actually discuss. But in my opinion, considering any action using the black hat, we would choose to continue our education degree. We would pursue a postgraduate degree because if we take on the job, a full-time job, according to the black hat, we would be in more water, we would be drowning more. But if we continue our postgraduate degree, we might be able to get more experience plus more knowledge. But we will be in a student debt, and there won't be more potential risk, but we will get some experience along the road.
Which could help you get a better job that will help you pay back
Exactly,
your student
exactly.
debt.
And considering the job market situation, we can change our degree or master's degree, but since we have our base level set up as our BS degree, we can change our master's degree to any other field too.
Brilliant, brilliant. Can we get someone from the Red Hat?
Okay, who was from room 2?
Me.
Let's go, Marin.
Okay.
The
Oh,
Marin?
okay.
Marin?
Marine, yes, Marine.
Marin. All right.
I was literally typing my whole discussion.
All right. So it's their full-time job offer before because it's exciting.
No, no. I didn't send it because I was in the middle of the typing.
All right. So let's hear it then.
Okay, so we were really debating on whether to choose post-graduation um or job, but 5 of my teams were very passionate on job because they thought that it will be really exciting to choose for a new path for themselves after graduation, and because it's job, and they'll try to explore new paths on how they're going to be project management and everything, and it would be exciting for them and they'll be happy to start earning. And Then they also said that it would be good to be financially stable, but then someone said that it would come in the yellow hat. And
Okay.
yes, then two of my other teammates were really passionate on approaching for post graduation, and that too for in abroad scholarships, because they won't have the fear of missing out because of the parties there, and they will be relieved because they will be joining parties, and also that they'll be excited to explore new areas and new city and
Formal.
everything.
Yeah.
So this was a little rundown.
Right. So the fear of missing out, FOMO, it's what is fueling your decision making about going for
Yes.
masters abroad. So you don't want to miss out on the parties and the experience. Right. Shall we cover which last one are we yet to cover? We've covered green, blue. Have we covered blue hat? Shall we do yellow real quick and then we move on to the last slide and then we can wrap this up?
Okay. Anybody from room 4? You can just speak up if you're from room 4.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Speak up.
I was looking through the comments and some of them are
Assalamualaikum.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm from room 1, a white hat.
Okay.
So it's basically about facts and information. So me and my team decided to go with studies like postgraduate, because we have, number one, we have more opportunities when we come with fully educated, like we done our postgraduate, and then we have a lot of job opportunities as compared to if we done only graduations. And secondly, we have complete our own researches in that studies, so it will benefit a lot.
Yeah, makes sense. So the whole idea is exactly what each group has presented. You can see White Hat was more data driven in their decision making based on the job market and understanding the the opportunity that comes with an additional postgraduate degree. And the Red Hat, it was more about emotions, FOMO, missing out on the party, missing out on the experience of going abroad. And the Black Hat, it's more about the critical judgment and being looking at the risk. Like if I go further to study, I'm gonna have more student debts that I will be paying back. And the Yellow Hat is all about optimism and the benefit of having additional qualification. So you can see that you can have all of this in a team, and it's all about understanding the personalities in each team to be able to know how to work together to get the same mutually agreed goal. So if you're thinking of some of the works that you'll be doing around mental health, you can be able to understand, like, if a team member is based on data, you can easily say, oh, there must be a white hat thinker. And if someone is about the emotions and the feelings, you can say, oh, they seem more of a red hat thinker. So that way you can adjust to accommodate each personalities in a group and focus on achieving the common goal, which is being able to spread the awareness about mental health, being able to alleviate some of the issues around mental health in your communities and in your areas. All right. The last bit that I want to talk about, I've already talked about it in the beginning about bias. Cognitive biases exist. First, I talked about cricket, thinking that all Pakistanis play cricket or they are awesome cricketers, or everybody from England knows how to drink beer, for example. That's a bias. Or thinking every black person can run fast. That's another bias. And, or a very good one, every black person is a good dancer. It's a lie. I know friends, I have cousins that can't dance to save their lives. I'm telling you. So it's about understanding that. And ultimately, we have four kind of biases in terms of levels. So a confirmation bias is you favoring information that confirms existing beliefs. So similar to what I just said now, that oh, based on the fact that Pakistan has won the Cricket World Cup before, then they must be very good at cricket. We know that currently that is not the case. I'm not throwing shades, but that's the fact. And in terms of anchoring bias, is relying heavily on the first piece of information that you received. So you can say, okay, if you come to England, you'll be able to get a job and you'll be able to study and earn money because maybe you have a cousin in England who is lucky enough to be doing that. That doesn't mean it will be the reality for everyone in England. Or what we call availability heuristic, overestimating the importance of information that comes to mind quickly. So saying, trying to recollect something that happened when you were 6 years old. For example, you're telling a friend a story and you're trying to relate what happened to you when you were six. Chances are, if we were to go back, all that information you thought was true about that experience, there might be a little bit of inconsistency in the story. If someone else were to be there, because they might have a different version of the same story, of the same instance, and that's to tell you the availability of heuristic. And the status quo bias is when you're being resistant to change and saying, we're used to it being this way, it has to be that way. So quickly, I have an example and anyone can answer this. A team stuck with an outdated strategy because it's worked before. What kind of bias is that? Anyone, real quick? Number one, example one, what kind of bias do you think that is? Anyone?
A status quo bias.
Awesome. Brilliant. Yeah?
Confirmation bias.
No.
The second one.
The second one, investors overvaluing a company based on initial type. What kind of bias do you think that is?
Anchoring bias.
Anyone else?
Availability heuristic. Confirmation bias.
Yeah? Anyone else?
I think so. Confirmation bias.
Okay. Do we agree mostly? Yes?
Confirmation bias.
Awesome. Yeah. Confirmation bias. Because most of the time, when you buy the company, it turns out that it's not as important as you think. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any question about cognitive biases? There is an exercise, but we're running out of time. So rather than going to breakout room, we can just discuss it for the next 5 minutes and pick one or two people to share their opinion. So imagine you and your friends are deciding whether to spend the weekend studying for an upcoming exam or going on a spontaneous trip. How do you decide? It's about identifying potential biases that might affect your decision making. Yeah, Salah?
First, I would like to give out just one point, that is the availability of all the peoples.
Okay, that's a good one. So you're going with your friends. Different friends might have different ideas of having fun and what they'd like to
So
do.
I would like to be on a trip with my friends where I can also enjoy the trip and spend well.
Okay, so going further, what are the potential biases that might affect your decision making?
And what if we say that If we select going for a trip with friends, and that trip is kind of far for 2 to 3 hours, and on that trip we can also study during going on the trip, like on the way we can also study. So both points can be clear, and we can also enjoy there at the moment, like the point we have reached, and on the way we can also study and discuss things about the study, like if we had study in the previous times.
So you're referring to previous time. What kind of bias do you think that is?
I can say
Confirmation bias.
Say again?
yes.
Confirmation bias.
Exactly. Because your previous trip might have taken you 3 hours, but this one, maybe there's traffic, maybe there's road accident, it might take you longer, right? And then you're no longer having fun because you need to get back, you start panicking, and all that fun that you had planned might not work again. So how do you think you could overcome that? A good example, you could go on Google Map to see if that distance to where you want to go is still the same, correct? And
Yes,
then
sir. Well,
and then you can ask your friends if that's actually what they want to do as well. And it's not just because you did it and it was fun, correct?
Yes, sir.
So those are the kind of ways that you could be able to identify all the biases in your decision making. So I think in rounding up about what we've done in terms of key takeaways, critical thinking is fundamental to everything we do in terms of innovation, in terms of challenging our own beliefs and existing assumptions to explore how other people might think or how other people perceive the same problem and how they might be solving it in other parts of the world. So bringing it back to mental health, like critical thinking will let you explore how other countries, other regions are solving mental health issues. What are the things working for them? What are the things you can bring in to your immediate environment? And also, how does cultural nuances play into that? How does religious nuances play into that? How does the societal expectations play into all your projects, into what you need to do around mental health? Is it a case of addressing it in a behind closed doors or being public about it, organizing seminars, and how do you leverage what's working in other parts of the world? And the techniques that we've covered today can help you get to those answers in terms of the 5 whys, the lateral thinking, and the 6 thinking acts, and the bias busters that we've just gone through. And it's not a done deal. You need to continue to be curious. You need to continue to probe and ask questions. And I'm sure you have a good team around you with what Mo is doing. And for me as well, I'm available. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Like a few of you have reached out to me already. I've connected with some. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I hope you've enjoyed the session and you've at least learned one thing today. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity once again.
Thank you so much, Johnson. And I'm super thankful to you for the sessions on project management. And I hope all of the ambassadors have learned something in project management and thinking, or something, anything new that will help them
Yes, sir.
implement their projects, small scale projects, and organize seminars and other activities. I hope these skills, if not in this ambassadorship program, but in their career or in their jobs or in their organizations, it will help somewhat. And I think that's sufficient from your side, and you have done a lot for us. Thank you so much for your support and your kind way of training them, and the open discussion and everything. I will be in touch with you again. But for them, I think it's your last session. Not I think it's actually the last session on critical thinking and in the project management domain. So tomorrow we'll have another session on decision making, and that will be the last session of the ambassadorship program. After that, you will have to execute your projects, and we'll see you in action in the campuses and your activities. And I hope these trainings in project management, leadership, psychoeducation, and all the trainings you have delivered on sustainability as well, it will give you some ideas to execute in your own communities. And I hope this training will create some emerging leaders in our local communities, ranging from Karachi to Gilgit and Skardu and the area Multan and Lahore and about more than 35 cities. And it's great to hear all of you and to see all of you working for mental health and connecting Pakistan for better mental health in the ambassadorship program. And you are our hope, you are our asset, and I hope you will do something great in the future as well. Once again, thank you so much, Johnson, and that's it from my side. And for now, I think that's it, and see you in the next session tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
See you guys. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Khuda Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay,
Allah
Allah
ke
Hafiz,
hawale.
everyone.
Allah Hafiz.